Welcome to the HDR Digital Asset Group podcast series, where we interview thought leaders in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. Today, we are very excited to have Omar Isaacs from the Bahamas Government and Sarah Kirby from Barefoot Marketing talk about the inaugural blockchain and cryptocurrency conference held in the Bahamas on June 20th. Omar and Sarah, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
To start off, can you share how the Bahamas initially became interested in blockchain and cryptocurrency?
Well, we had a Grand Bahama Technology Summit in 2017, and out of that summit, we hosted a whole slew of Bahamians actually who were very big in the technology space, and they formed a steering committee. And out of this committee, recommendations were handed up to the Bahamas government, and one of them was to really look into the blockchain and cryptocurrency space because they saw that that was trending and that was a particular sector that the Bahamas should look into. And no better, no worse, almost a year later, we are at that point where we wanted to take a good look at it, and so the Bahamas Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Conference was born.
That leads to my next question. What inspired the Office of the Prime Minister to focus on hosting an event for blockchain versus other disruptive technologies such as artificial intelligence or IoT that would also have a positive impact on Bahamian industries?
Well, it really plays into one of our main objectives here in Grand Bahama, because the Bahamas is made up of 700 islands and keys, and Grand Bahama is just one of the islands in the destination. And the Bahamas government has designated this destination as the digital and technology hub of the Bahamas. Now, when we look at our geography and just the landscape and makeup of Grand Bahama, we have two sectors here. It's tourism and then it's industrial. And we were trying to evolve in the industrial sector and looking towards the digital sector to really make this evolution come about. And one of the, sectors, like I mentioned earlier, was the blockchain technology that we saw the applications to some of our most pressing issues would be able to rectify. One that stands out in my mind is land registry. A lot of persons had recommended that the Bahamas government look into blockchain technology to really bring a solution to this problem that we've been having for ages. And that's just one of the many applications, but that gives you a good feel of why we chose blockchain technology as our first focus of many to come.
We have all heard about the benefits of cryptocurrencies and specifically blockchain technology. What do you envision as the end goal for Bahamas? You mentioned land registry as a use case where blockchain could make an immediate impact, but what are some of the other areas that blockchain could help transform given a longer time horizon?
Well, I can say this much. The blockchain technology for us, one of the most resounding benefits is the level of trust that it's building up in the digital realm. That trust that a peer-to-peer transaction can happen and it can be mined and looked after by many different persons. That level of trust and can bring the Bahamas' digital economy to where we think it needs to be in future. For short-term goals, we think that the level of trust so that we have that infrastructure here to really lure and attract investors to the Bahamas and to this jurisdiction so that they can take part in these type of business ventures, especially as it relates to cryptocurrency, which will be our next focus. But right now, the blockchain technology is our focus.
And I think if I can add in, we're also excited. The market here in Grand Bahama really is perfect for business people in this type of environment. In fact, since we put the information out, we've had quite a few companies contact us about opening their doors here and having a place. We're 55 miles from the United States. We have ample room for growth. We have great banking systems. We have a great internet and cable capabilities. Schools. We have international schools. So we have everything that besides the fact that besides producing the blockchain and everything else that the companies are doing, we also have the infrastructure that's perfect for them if they don't want to be in the U.S. and they want to come to an international environment. And the sand and the beaches aren't too bad either.
It definitely sounds like the Bahamas is well equipped to build out the equivalent of a blockchain Silicon Valley. What benefits do you think this will reap for the country besides increasing inbound tourism?
For our country, what it means is, we have a lot of children that go away to school and come back, and they're not always finding the right jobs or the perfect ideas for them. Not everybody wants to work in tourism, even though it's out there. So this gives us another opportunity, another asset for them to consider going into as well. So it brings a lot of our people home, which we want to do. It also modernizes the way we work here, and it will also improve the actual island's economy because the more people we have, the better shipments of food we bring in, the better restaurants we have. It's very reciprocal. And our market feeds off this. We have a huge actual, like we call them a snowbird market, where people that come from Canada or abroad come in and stay. But our weather really is so much nicer than the Southern Caribbean because we don't really get as hot or as cold, so that it's perfect for full-time use for most people. And they do like our lifestyle. It's a little bit laid back, but we still have enough technology to keep us in the forefront of business.
So what you're saying is that it will generate more economic and social mobility for the people of Bahamas by diversifying the types of jobs to extend beyond just the tourism industry.
If I may add to that, at the end of the day, we are in the business of attracting newer kind of investors to the island, and not just to the island, to the islands, but speaking specifically about Grand Bahama Island, we're somewhat different, whereas we have two different jurisdictions where it's a port area and a social economic zone and a free trade zone where persons have the opportunity to have concessions like none other throughout the Bahamas. And we're hopeful that investors can take a look at this, take a look at our geography, take a look at the concessions and tax breaks that we do have here in Grand Bahama, and we see the blockchain and cryptocurrency technology and those within that space really taking a good look at it at this point in time, and through this platform of the Bahamas Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Conference, we hope to bring that to the forefront and really make some waves.
Currently, there's a lot of regulatory uncertainty pertaining to this space, and it seems to me as if the Bahamas government is leading the charge. What makes the government so confident in the space opposed to other governments?
Well, I can say that we are consistently looking to better ourselves. We have multiple agencies right now that are looking into the blockchain and cryptocurrency space and bringing forth regulatory frameworks. That's why we want to let everybody know under the sound of my voice, please log on to www.blockchainbahamasconference.com to register today, because on day one, June 20th, we will have the likes of Governor John Roll, who is the governor of our central bank. We will have Mr. Brian Jones, who is in charge of Fintech for our Bahamas Financial Services Board. We also have Ms. Christina Roll, who is heading up our Securities Commission. And one last person that stands out to me is Mr. Keith Davies, who is the CEO of BizX, that's our exchange here in the Bahamas. And all of these persons have really grappled with the regularity framework that they've seen in the region, and now they want to bring to the forefront and at this conference let the world know what the Bahamas' stance is going to be and how we're going to move into the future with this technology.
I see. So the level of diligence your agencies have dedicated to this space gives you the confidence to venture further into blockchain ahead of other comparable governments.
And continues to. I don't believe that it's finished yet. This is just the beginning. I mean, where we stand right now is not where we will stand, a year from now, just because of how technology is moving. And on top of that, too, we're going to be dependent upon those within the space and those at the conference who are, blockchain enthusiasts or cryptocurrency enthusiasts to really feed into what frames and policies that we do, when we do firm them up, what we want to see investors bring to us. They're going to give us the information that we need in order to create, stronger frameworks, a more secure environment for persons to come.
I think the big part for us, Cheyenne, is that everyone's trying to embrace what's coming. The government has set its goal very definitely on becoming like you said, a Silicon Valley for Grand Bahama and becoming a tech hub. And so they're looking to embrace and make changes. Not only will conference goers hear about the regulations, they will also hear about immigration changes, which are very big for us. We're not often allowing tons of people to come into the country without big checks and balances. This does not mean that we won't be checked, but we will allow people to come in to work in a more modern, infrastructured way. And that's a big step for us here in the Bahamas, but we realize we have to do that to compete on the global market. And right now, this government is looking to do that. And these are exciting things for our country that both Isaac and Omar and I are very, very excited about.
And that's certainly a bold and very future-oriented outlook on this space. ICOs are rising much faster than before, raising $9.5 billion already in 2018. A lot of people are comparing the ICO market to the dot-com IPO era. What's your view on this, and how does the government plan to assist in this relatively concerning trend?
Well, that particular trend, I can say that I'm not the best guy to speak to. But what we have realized is just what you mentioned, that it is the uptick and that we've seen in ICOs is something worth and is noteworthy. It was worth taking a look at, and that was certainly one of the reasons why we stood up and said, yes, we have to move forward with a conference like this and bring those persons, those cryptocurrency enthusiasts, those persons who want to continue this trend into the fold so that we can take full advantage of what's trending right now and what there is to come.
By being close to the United States and having a relatively open-minded regulation, it seems as though Bahamas is in a prime position to capitalize on this blockchain revolution. What would you say to any budding blockchain projects in terms of why they should move to the Bahamas?
Well, I mean, right now, where we're encouraging them to come here, it's the perfect time if they come to the conference to actually meet with the government representatives. As you know, things in business do take a long time, but if you're right there with the actual people dealing with them, it's perfect. We actually have here in Grand Bahama what we would call a quasi-government. We also have the Grand Bahama Port Authority, who basically land holds and runs our particular island. This is a benefit for us because things actually move very fast. Our island is beautiful. It's kind of compared to like a look of Fort Lauderdale, very laid out and organized. So it's perfect for that kind of consumer that the blockchain and cryptocurrency people encourage. We have the right kind of homes. We've got the right kind of toys for them to play with. We've got boat slips. We've got boat people. They can travel throughout our islands, and you can stay here in the Bahamas. We've got 700 of them, so you've got tons of the islands to visit. But right now is the time, because the government is opening its doors to people in this business, because they recognize from fellow Bahamians that have traveled and are working abroad that this is something that we want here. And so we're all working to encourage those companies to come here. While they're here for the 3 days, enjoy the island. We've got lots of real estate available for them at fantastic prices. We've got beautiful homes and everything we feel they need to make this the perfect place to come and live. After the GB Tech conference, we've already got companies that are making their way here. One's actually opening their doors next week. They've been very excited. They feel they've been very welcomed. And the best part for us, which has changed again in the Bahamian government, is the support they've gotten is phenomenal. It's made things go through faster. The people are pushing, because we want to see change, and we're ready to embrace it now. It's a new level of people running the country, and it's good for us. And it's great for us for business. For those of us who've been here for years, we're very excited to see the open door policy and the willingness of our government to make these changes to welcome new high-tech visionaries into our country.
If I may add to that, we have a slogan that you will probably be seeing in very short order, that IT is better in the Bahamas, meaning information technology. And that we're going to stand by that because we see where our industrial sector has brought us to a certain point, but now it needs to evolve. And the inevitable next step for us is to become this technology hub where innovation is not only going to, originate within the Bahamas, but within the Caribbean.
Just from speaking with you both, I can already tell your community is an early adopter of any new technology. So we are certainly very excited to see how blockchain unfolds in the Bahamas in the next couple years. Before I let you go, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to share some last words about this conference and what you are most excited for the attendees to see.
I can say outright that I'm very excited to see Anthony Diorio, who I think, when you talk about one of the founders who we would, love to have at this conference, when we were able to confirm his participation, I was ecstatic. We're known for partying here in the Bahamas, so our farewell party that's going to be in Count Basie Square in Port Lucaya Marketplace, that will be something that I believe blockchain enthusiasts, but any visitor to the Bahamas is going to be raving about for years to come. But at the end of the day, this conference is a hybrid conference. We're going to have panel discussions and an educational portion, but we also are going to have a venture conference where we've invited about 20 plus companies from all around the world. As far as India, will be ascending on Grand Bahama to meet up with another set of companies, venture capitalists that we've assembled for them, and they will be pitching to them. And the three different segments are going to be seed stage, early stage, and growth stage. And I'm excited as an investment officer to see where we can take this part of the conference. Will any deals be stricken? Will any new innovations be founded at our conference? This is something that it keeps me up at night, and I'm hopeful that everybody who is tuned in can go online, log on to www.blockchainbahamasconference.com and register today.
Omar and Sarah, thanks again for joining us today and sharing the Bahamas outlook on blockchain.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.